Mic check. 1, 2, 3. All right, we're good to go. Let me get a couple things set up here. And should be able to get started soon. Lights. All right. Let's go. Let's go. All right. Good evening, everybody. I need to fix one thing here. There we go. All right. Here we go. Awesome. Kirk, good evening, brother. How you doing, man? How's trading going? What are you up to? Are you you able to hold your own, manage your risk? Did you have a good day today? Did you not trade today? What have you been up to, brother? Demo trading a little bit, maybe? Did I see ICT trade? Let's go take a look. I think I might have Googled it briefly, but let's take a quick look. Let's head over to the charts here. Let's see. Need to open up a new page here. There it is. Oh, lost all the evals. Oh no. That's okay. We can go back to one. We can go back to trading one at a time. So, the sales will come. Don't worry, they'll come back. Every single time they'll be back. So, just focus on one for now, and see if you can get the one to performance, and then treat that as your next goal. You know, you don't have to buy multiple. Just let the others, you know, just kind of just peter away. Let them just go away. There will be other sales in the future. They might be 80% sales, but don't think that the 90% won't come back. They will. Just you have to wait for them. So let's see. 8 hours ago. Let's take a look at this ICT trade. Once my ads go by. So while the ads are playing, I think we can maybe skip the one ad soon, maybe. Here we go. Yeah, so, and that's okay, Kirk. I mean, you saw I failed a bunch of performance accounts too, so I'm fortunate that I've had a lot waiting, but let's take a look at this. So he looks like he took that same trade down into the hourly imbalance that we had. Looks like he took the same exact trade down into that hourly imbalance. 15, let's see, 742. And he took that down. Yeah, it looks like he took that down to 15,742 there. Took profit. And he kept a target there. Thought it was going to go down a little bit further. And then I think he lets it die on him. He lets the trade die. Yeah. So he took the exact same trade that we did. Well, I mean, you know, technically we should be saying we took the same trade he did, I suppose, but yeah, I mean, that initial rundown was a huge one. And that was, I think, in the London side, if I recall correctly. Gosh, where is it? Why can't I find this trade? Oh, it's because I didn't start my connection yet. But yeah, it's the same trade that we were fortunate enough to take today too. And that short that went down into the weekly level, that was kind of it's similar to where he took profit at the quarter. He took the hourly fair value gap there. We'll take a look at that. But it looks like he did take that short. but he took that short after seeing confirmation of this movement downwards. How he entered here, I think, is something that I would need to look at a lower time frame to check out. But it does look like that he took the exact same short that we did earlier today. If I could freaking find it. I think it was on this one, maybe. I need to look for the trade that we took. Oh, there it is. Okay. Let's see, 15. He took that down to 15,740. Yeah, he took the exact same trade that we did, and we exited right at that bounce. And we were fortunate that we exited right at that bounce because there's definitely some movement upwards after that fact. And I will actually show you something that I was looking at that led me to understand why I saw that thing bouncing there. It was actually pretty interesting to note. So we'll touch upon that as an SMT divergence that I saw. Doesn't work all the time, but at key levels it does. So let's take a look at the day tomorrow. So key things tomorrow. Tuesday is going to be a great movie day. There's JOLTS job openings. So I wouldn't trade before 10 o'clock, but wait until 10 o'clock happens and then see what kind of forms after that. Because usually there'll be a nice big move and there'll be a move in the counter direction too. So, don't trade news. There's plenty of stuff that you can trade after news, but news is a good way to wreck accounts for sure. So, we'll keep that in mind at 10 o'clock a.m. Don't be in any trade, and then look for, you can trade before then, you can trade after then, but don't trade right immediately before that, into it. So let's go to the charts next. So today traded micro NASDAQ and oil on a different account. Let's take a look at the daily. So let's take a look at the daily over here. And let's zoom in on where we're at right now. So Asia is actually dropping a bit. So that I find is interesting. So on the daily, so we see that the candle bodies have now broken out of this range. We were in this range. Now we are starting a market maker sell model. So what we expect here, well, I mean, it potentially could be one. That's what I'm expecting here. I would like for us to see this, considering we saw a movement below a short-term low and a displacement below short-term low. More specifically. So there's this short-term low here, this short-term low here. Both of these got displaced to the downside, and we haven't made a higher high yet anymore. So that leads me to believe that we are continuing lower and potentially into this area here. So what you see highlighted in blue is the 1 hour fair value gap. We'll get down to that time frame, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. But Kirk, yeah, definitely let me know, drop a chat if you've got a question at all. I'm more than happy to answer it as I'm going through. If you need me to explain something again, just drop it in the chat. Let me know, okay? I'm here for you. So let's go down. Right now, we know that the week opened up with a big gap down. We'll see that on a lower time frame chart, but on the daily, we see that we've headed downwards, traded up, and now are trading downwards back into this weekly sell side or buy side imbalance. So if you go to the weekly chart, you'll see a big green candle up through this area here. We traded to half of it and then we bounced. We can still trade down to it. If we start to see candles close below it, that's going to indicate to me that it's probably going to aim for this area down here. We can definitely see a little consolidation on the daily and then head downwards as well on Friday. Or maybe on Friday, take out all of the previous buy stops and then head downwards. That could be something I could see on Friday as well. For the time being, I will trade. I can't trade tomorrow. I'm going to be physically in the office. I will leave the stream on so that we can still see the different time frames there, but I will not be physically here. So feel free to, if you want to watch somebody else, go for it. If you want to keep supporting here, totally understand too, and I appreciate that. So here on the daily, we see that we've traded to a previous premium BISI high. We traded down to it, and then we've traded back up here. So for the time being, I will still leave this here. Technically, the BISI high is actually here at this low, but what remains for price is really this amount here. So this is really all that remains. So this low, 15,721.25 is going to be key. 15,721.25. So we're going to mark that now. And we're going to make that update to our daily BISI high. And this is a premium BISI high. So we're going to mark that as such. So what do we mean by premium? It's at the upper quadrant of our price, so of our swing. So if we take our current swing from low to high, candle low to candle high, we can kind of see that we have this low to this candle high here, the bodies at least, right? The body of this low to body of this high. And equilibrium brings us down to roughly around here. So there's still somewhere to go to the downside, potentially. Let me see if I can get rid of this. So on the daily, that's really all we see. This potential draw to the outstanding premium BISI that we haven't traded to yet. So we're keeping this in mind. We're keeping the fact that there's this lower half of the weekly premium BISI. So those yellow markers, we know that this lower half hasn't been traded to yet. Kevin Zhu, good to see you, man. Need ES to sell to see that BISI on NASDAQ broken. Yeah, we'll take a look at ES actually in a little bit too. There are some interesting things happening on E-mini as well. So definitely worthwhile keeping track of both of them. So yeah. I do believe that, you know, we'll just have to see. The daily does look like it's seeing a daily SMT diversion. If we take a look at this chart here, let me see if I can blow this up a little bit. So you can kind of see the red being E-mini, the orange being NASDAQ, and the green being the Dow. So we see the E-mini high to an E-mini high here. We see a NASDAQ high, oops, a NASDAQ high here to a NASDAQ higher high here. And we also see from the E-mini, or sorry, from the Dow, we see a higher high on the Dow as well. So in this sense, I see E-mini showing a cracking correlation here where it did not make a higher high before dropping. So that leads me to believe that E-mini is likely going to be the one that drops faster in the coming weeks, honestly. I think that that's really going to happen. But let's take a look at things little by little. And so on the daily, what are our draws? Well, we have this candle low, previous day low, right? We've got the previous day's close, open, and high. So all of these, and there's a new week opening high roughly where that daily candle opened, right? So I think with this one, we continue to go down for a little bit as we have no imbalances above us. We've traded, made a higher high here, and then now we've made a lower low. So what we're looking for is this price to create a lower high to see us continue downwards. That's the gist of this bias here. One thing to note is that the month of December generally is a more bullish month. So if we see a massive amount of bearishness, that's going to bode really poorly for January. So keep that in mind, even though the monthly tendency of December is relatively positive, that if we see heavy selling, then there's a likelihood that January is going to fall even harder. Okay, so let's head down to the 4-hour chart. Let's see what we can find here. So on the 4-hour chart, we see a higher high. We see some lower highs and lower lows now. And so on the 4-hour, there's actually a gap here. So I don't know if you can see it well. So hopefully this is a little bit more obvious. So this hot low to this high is a fair value gap, sell side imbalance that breaks through these relative equal lows. And so we see price heading up here and heading down in Asia. I'd be interested to see if London takes this high out, or if London trades so far down and takes this low out. I would be interested in seeing that. Let's see, Kevin Zhu, I saw that December is usually a consolidation for the past 3 years. There are a handful of weeks in December which are quite bullish, but you have to keep in mind this is also an election year, so it's going to naturally it's going to be a little bit less following of historics. If you go look at the Trader's Almanac, I forget what it was called, you can see data back from all the different years printed out. So I don't buy that anymore, but it was a really interesting book when I did use that in 2022. But seasonal tendencies in December generally bullish, but towards the end can be bearish as well, as it gets really close to January. So for the 4-hour, we do see that there's a short-term high up here, so keep that in mind. This could trade up to it and then take that out, or if this price ends up staying like this, these two could be served as relative equal highs for price to ride up to it and then reject from. We have dropped quite a bit though from the swing high to swing low, but there's definitely further imbalances to the left that we can try to aim for. Phoenix AVS, good evening. Good evening. Good to see you. And Kevin, keep in mind, I think one of those years was COVID too. That was a really odd year too. All right, so on the 4-hour, you see that there's this pretty clear that there's this remainder of this gap to go. Where could we go first? I would look for us to take out this short-term high here, if we can, and then continue downwards to see a little bit more down here. Do I see price coming all the way back up to new week opening gap? I don't really, but the price's reaction at that weekly BISI high, it is an interesting one, but again, if we're looking for shorts, then so be it, I would think that having a higher probability of shorts this particular week is probably a little bit higher probability, but everyone's got their own thing, right? So let's take a look at the hourly here. So let's also do a Fibonacci here. And let us make that a swing grade template. And then let's pull this all the way over here. So you can kind of see what ICT was trying to convey. You remember he split this hourly time block into 25%, 50, 75%, and 100, right? Let me pull this up for reference here. So you kind of see that 75% mark here on ICT's latest video. It's the same 15739.25, okay? 15740. exactly the same here. So I wanted to explain to you what that is, and that is called a swing grade. When there is a large displacement in the past of areas that you can trade to, and this is why he was trying to take profit at that 50% mark. But why I took profit earlier was because we had the weekly imbalance, a higher time frame imbalance that had a midpoint there, and I saw that come back, so I took profit very quickly. And I think that had he had those weekly charts on his chart, weekly levels on his chart, he would have seen the same things too. So this is one lesson here that not a lot of people are probably going to see, but when you have a weekly imbalance, like a big weekly buy side imbalance, you want to pay attention to the 50% mark there and pay close attention to that. Now, this hourly 50% mark likely is going to get hit at some point, but we are okay with it taking out sell stops here. Where could it reach to? They could reach to that 50% mark. So there's definitely some insight to be gained from splitting this up and grading your swing every quarter. So hopefully that's helpful to explain ICT's trade today and failure to take profit at the very end. Okay, so outside of that, on the hourly, there's nothing else. We've traded to this short-term low already, so we don't really need it. We've traded well below this low, and we have this one as a option. We'll remove it anyways, and then we'll put this one down there. All right. So on the hourly, we still think that it's going to head a little bit lower for now, given its price action. If we see a 3 drives pattern, then and that goes into a discount swing, then we might consider taking that as a long. But until that point, we are short. Okay, so let's head down. We know for the hourly, we know that Asia is heading down right now. So what we want to see is we want to see something like you see how like these high, lower high. We want to see something like that for us to continue downwards. And there's always some of these fair value gaps here as well to pay attention to. Okay, so let's go down to the 15-minute. So 15 minutes today made it all the way to this order block here. So I'm losing my thought here. I'm gonna have to go to sleep a little bit early today. I'm very tired. But on the 15-minute, it really doesn't really say much in terms of preparing us for tomorrow. Really, we should just stay on the hourly, and then during daily executions, we can certainly flip down through 15-minute, time frames, 15, 5-minute, 1 minute. And right now, we are still well below the new week opening gap. We have not traded to the new week opening gap high, and we left a 60-minute volume imbalance up there. So that's it. We think that price is likely to continue drawing down here. That's at least what I'm thinking right now. I think some people think it's gonna rip as well, but my sentiment tells me that that I've got people that think it's gonna go down, towards the bearish route. Okay, so nothing really else to see here. Let's go back to the daily. Any questions from the audience? Any questions or comments? Everyone saw ICT's execution. We took the same execution today. Okay. All right. Well, so if there are no other questions, there is a SMT diversion chart that I wanted to show. So, one thing to consider is when we're looking at lows making lower lows, we might want to take a look and see if there are other considerations to seek things out. We have this low to this low. So ES is this first low. And this is NASDAQ here. And then YM, of course, is down here. Doesn't that look like YM is having a blast? I mean, just the other day, it rocketed. So, I don't know. Maybe that's why Hydra trades YM so much. But I was looking for these kind of like examples. And it was fascinating to me studying the woods, studying some of the like basics again. Oh my goodness, I am tired. Okay, I think it's it looks steady rolling. Yeah, YM is looks steady rolling on the 5-minute, but when you look at that on the yearly chart, on the daily chart, it's freaking monstrosity. It's the only one of these that has made a higher high, and that's why I think that this could turn into a elevated type drive around. I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, I'm keeping an eye on the daily for SMT diversion, because when something changes, I want it to be changing on the higher time frame analysis so I can take lower time frame trades on it. So we will see what happens. Not tomorrow though. We won't see what happens tomorrow, but we do think that it can still come down into this weekly buy side imbalance. Okay, so we'll look for continued shorts. We'll see if this is a Monday case of the Mondays where you get a few good hits off and then you don't have good price action the rest of the week. I'm hoping that you get the great price action on Tuesday and Wednesday, maybe Thursday morning as well. All right. Well, doesn't look like there's any other like major questions. Yeah, I'm not seeing any. Let's see. Okay, well, I guess that'll be it for tonight. I'm gonna try and get to bed a little bit earlier today so my head stops hurting. And but yeah, it was fun trading oil again. I traded that on the main account. So up a few $100s in a little bit. I do wish I would have been a little bit more patient with my entries today. Going negative about 20 handles was the worst. Okay. Insert name here. You are just arriving. We are getting done with our review right now, so we're just doing Q&A. Any questions? Insert name here, new day, make it the best. Absolutely, make it the best. Hell yeah. So yeah, I mean, we'll see if London and Asia and London decide to trade up a little bit. I would look for the hourly fair value gap on the downside. And I think that's it. Thank you. Got a doctor's appointment in the AM, so we'll see how long that takes. Yeah. Good luck at the doctor's appointment, though, Phoenix. Hope everything's okay. Insert name here. I've been watching. Oh, thank you. Appreciate it. No, I appreciate every single one of you that continues to watch. I hope this can, I can only hope that this remains valuable. Kirk, thank you very much. Appreciate you. I don't know why I'm so tired today, but I'm just going to take a shower and get to drink some water and get to bed. So, yeah. Good luck tomorrow. Make sure you keep in mind that 10 o'clock and 10 o'clock news tomorrow. And keep in mind that while there is room to fall to the downside, we might need a larger retrace first. It's very possible. So yeah. All right. Kirk, thank you. Good night. Phoenix, ABS, thank you. Appreciate it. Insert name here. Thanks for joining, Kevin. Good to see you as always. And yeah, appreciate having you all. We will catch up probably very bright and early tomorrow, maybe before work, depending on if I can make breakfast or not. And we'll try to get on early, but no guarantees there since I am a little bit tired. So with that, I am going to bid you adieu, and we'll catch up soon. See ya. Ray, thanks. Appreciate you, brother. Let me know if there's any questions. Always, drop them in the chat or the comments. I'll be able to see the comments after we close the stream, and we will handle those as we can. Yeah. So back down to trading one account at a time.